Hi guys, welcome back to another timeless reading. This is for Saturday, November 1st, 7:25 p.m. Happy November 1st. May the blessings of change and evolution and expansion bless you and your loved ones. So I pull from the Astrology Answers Tarot card. So this came sideways, and I feel like this is finding balance because we were under that Libra full moon there. But I feel like this could be in a lot of endeavors. I feel like bringing in grounding capabilities with myself going into retrograde on the 9th. It's like, you get all these shadows energies, especially when it comes to the end of the month. Like, your mortgage is due, your rent is due, like, your house insurance, your, pet insurance, whatever insurances you have, right? So it makes you feel, I feel like sometimes insecure, depending on your financial situation and the makeup of your family, right? But I'm sure anyone would feel that way because it's like we feel good and we feel stable when there's money building and building and building more than we had last time after bills and expenses. So it's like there's ebbs and flows when it comes to money. And it's like if you, and I know and I get it. Like people sit there and they're like, oh, money doesn't buy you happiness. But no, but it buys you stability. And for myself, especially the Queen of Pentacles energy, it's like they're givers. They always, like don't forget, like we just went, we just did Halloween tricks or treats, and it was just we set up a whole table out in the front because it just made it easier because we did like candy and chocolates, and we, by grace of God, Diana, we gave out a bag of chips, we gave out a pop, and we let the kids choose. And this one mom, you know what I mean? I totally resonate with her when the boys were small. It's hard. She's got a look, he was like maybe 6 or 8, and then she had like one younger than him in the middle, and then she had a toddler. So it's like, it's easier for her to navigate everyone where they're just, and the poor kids were like, do we just pick one? I'm like, no. I'm like, you sit there and take one of each. Take 3 candies, 2 chocolates, 1 bag of chips, and 1 pop. We let them choose. That's what it's about. It's about the kids going out and being kids. How often do they get to be kids nowadays, It's like they're always told where to go and where to be and have to be at this time and raise your hand and so obedient, It's like, let them be kids. We forget that, I even forget that with my youngest, I forget that he's only 15. So I feel like this is something we need to work on, especially with retrograde. And it's like, you will be the victor wearing the wreath. It's like we're learning lessons, Emily Sky was touching on this, and I feel like a lot of us feel that way. It's like you get to a certain age and it's like you have to unlearn the bull crap that you were fed for so long. And you think, because you're like, well, everybody is kind of saying the same narrative, so it must be true. And she's so successful. She's the pioneer. She's all about body positivity. You know what I mean? And she's so inspirational. She's so funny. I love her family. I love her. I love her energy. She's so positive and motivational. It's like, she's like real. She's just like, this is what I look like after giving birth. And it took her a year to get back to where, but it's discipline. It's like anything we do in life. Sometimes we won't want to feel like doing it because we're tired. And it's like, the way that I see it, like when it comes to my faith and discipline of like, our daily bread, for one, it makes me feel good. Just like working out. I don't like doing it, but I know I like the feeling it gives me, So it's just like, when we're going out for, especially this time of year, going for walks, sitting there and just like today, we were sitting there playing with my mom's cat today. You know what I mean? We went to the dollar store. We went to Walmart. They actually have a great selection, like the dollar store, but it's like individual toys. And we got like him like an ice cream cone, a mouse. He's a good mouser. An ice cream cone, a mouse, a fish, some feather thing, something else. And it's just like, it was very inexpensive, and it's just like little things to make him happy. You know what I mean? It's just little things to drain out his energy, keep him preoccupied. But it was just so much fun to play with him and see him, and he didn't let us pet him so much, but I think because of all the toys. Empress energy. Doesn't matter if you're divine masculine, divine feminine, whatever you resonate with. I can say that I identify as female. I am a female. I was born a female. Whatever. I don't want to get into all that. It's like, I'm not going to sit there and tell someone that this they're like meat suit that we wear That's so mean. The meat suit that we wear, this is their words. You know what I mean? And it's just like, let that define us, because it's just like, some of us get tattoos, some of us get piercings. It's like a car. It's like bumper stickers, right? Even Kim Kardashian said you're not going to put a bumper sticker on her Bentley, so there you go. You know what I mean? It's just like some of us like to trick it out more than others, so I just feel like it's just finding that balance where you're a giver, you're a gift giver, and it makes you so happy to see people enjoy things that and you don't always get the response that you think you'll get, and that's our fault. You know what I mean? We came from a good place, and Yahweh Yeshua see that. It is November 1st. If you're able to, and you see any of the Salvation Armies collecting money for the legions, or the legions are collecting money for the veterans, whatever even if it's $1, even if it's $2, like if you could put something in the box, definitely do so. So there's this major beginning here. This is something you don't have to work for. A lot of pentacle grounding energy. You know what I mean? Especially going into retrograde, we need a lot of that. Let me just pull this back. Hopefully it doesn't fall. But it's just like, I feel like this is something we're working for. I feel like this is something we're working towards. We have goals, ambitions. If you haven't seen him come across your For You page, Harry Fairy, he is hilarious. He is the most positive, real energy you will see. And he's just like, you're not Delulu enough. You need to be more Delulu. And it's just like, you know what? Life is about living. Life is about having fun. You know what I mean? I'm like, I admire my mom for that. I remember one year, my sister threw a Nerf party for Tyler. And it was in the basement. I think it was a Legion or a church. I think it was a Legion. And I guess they hold concerts and stuff like that because they had the stage. Just like the school, it's like a school gym. But it was very long. And my mom sat there and she didn't care. She grabbed a Nerf gun and she was shooting all the kids. They were all laughing. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my gosh, an adult's playing with us. And I'm like, oh yay, I get to rest. You know what I mean? And it's just like, don't lose that. And that's one thing I've always admired about my mom. She does not give a crud. Especially when me and my sister started having kids. She's there on her stomach, laying on the floor, playing with the grandkids. She don't care. She's like, okay, go away. Leave us alone. Let us play. You know what I mean? She didn't care. You know? She's still like that. Fishing, anything. She's just like, leave us alone. Let us have fun. I was like, yeah, go have fun. They're watching movies or whatever together. I go do my thing. You know, and I feel like this is what they're saying. I feel like some people will poop on you for what you want to do. This is a change and transformation. You know? It's just like some people are not part of this journey. That some people are not a part of your Delulu energy, your Delulu life. You know? They don't see it the same way. That's fine. Follow your intuition as you move forward. The Empress is the encompassment of all of the queens. You know, the intuition, the fire, the passion. I feel like right now, definitely, we're embracing this fire energy. You know, I've been saying this since last week. It's just like, I get emotional this time of year because, like, especially next week, Shane's birthday, my dad's birthday, and you know, thankfully I have a bestie that her birthday is around there too, and I'm just like, and I tell the kids that I'm like, it won't always feel like this. I said, as you get older and more people come into your life, and then like your partners, your children, it's like God sits there and blesses you with amazing people, places, and things, or memories on certain dates or anniversaries. Like, you know, my dad's passing anniversary. It's like, that's when I started doing tarot. For some weird reason, I didn't even know what day it was. And I sat there and I'm like, this card speaks to me. And I started posting, and it's like, you know what I mean? And it took a lot. It was 5 days a week. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exhausting. You know, it's a discipline, you know? And I tried to stay disciplined with it, you know? It's just like anything. It's just, you know, unfortunately, especially when the kids are in school, it's like, you know, not unfortunately, it's a blessing. You know what I mean? It's like how long, you know, the days are long, but the years are short, you know? It's like, before you know it, it's like they're doing their own thing, and it's like, now you gotta find things to fill up your life, you know? So I just feel like here, it's just like following your intuition as you move forward. And it's like even being loving to yourself. We always sit there and put others' priorities above us, which is understandable as a parent, as like a fur parent. You know what I mean? Like like a fur baby. I don't care. Some people, oh, that's only turf. I don't see Sunny as just a dog. You know, it's like he is a part of our family in every fiber. Cause he's like another baby. You know, it's like, you know, you get this. What do you call that? Like baby fever, and it's like you're holding, you know, your pets, or, you know what I mean? Your love babies. You know, it's just unconditional love. You know, it's like they're an extension of you, just like your children. It's like you don't see them that way. You love and care on them, and you want the best for them. You know, we're kind of delulu thinking they'll last forever, but, you know, nevertheless, it's like, you know, you're gonna stop loving them just because they're not as cutely and cuddly and, you know, as sparky as they used to be. And it's like, you know what? You loved me at my worst. You know what I mean? When I was going through some garbage, and it's just like, you know, even a girlfriend of mine, I see her and she takes her dogs for hikes with her, and she has a little pouch for her. And I'm like, that's exactly what I saw myself getting, one of those baby, uh, the baby harnesses. Not so much where they poke their feet through or anything like that, but they do have those for some of the bigger dogs. But just having something to carry him. And it's like, you know, I think of the gentleman from 90 Day Fiance. He was marrying his husband that lived in Mexico. And it's just like he would do the same thing with his dog. You know, he loved him until, you know, unfortunately it was time to say goodbye. Look at this. Unconditional love. And that's what you got to remember around you. You know, I know sometimes money isn't the greatest. I know we're all struggling, you know, right now. And it's like, you're trying to pay the bills. You're trying to do a great Christmas. You're trying to do this. You're trying to do that. And it's just like, every time you think you're making a move in a positive direction, here comes something that'll knock you on your butt. It's like, oh, hey, I see you're making some extra money there. Hey, now we got something else for you. It's like, go away. You know what I mean? But that's what I feel like you have to remember at the end of the day. What really matters is that unconditional love that hopefully you have in your life. It's from your fur babies, your children, parents, grandparents, whomever, your best friends, you know what I mean? Your tribe. It's like that unconditional love, you know, that you have in your life. They're highlighting the full moon here, which is Tuesday? No, Wednesday. It's the day after. Me and Shane were both born under a full moon, which is really cool. And, you know, when you think about the moon, it's like how the energy, like we were standing outside, and, you know, we were like, you know, last year was like 8:45, but the weather, we got the nothing compared to Jamaica. You know, if you're able to donate to that, donate to that. On the recovery. But it's just like, I feel like, again, with the death card, is like calling back in your tribe, kind of like the wolf moon that we have in January. So resetting those boundaries. Again, with the pillars, it's like balance, but highlighting the cycles of life. So when we're going through things, like they said, like, you know, when we're feeling tired and run down, it's like, don't give up. Learn to rest. And that's the biggest blessing, because we're not taught to rest. We're taught go, 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 aren't we? You know, as young kids, it's like, you know, I remember when Jenna was in school, they're just like, they had everything scheduled out. And it's like Saturday, school. They're like, Sunday, family day, rest. And I'm like, who are you to tell us and schedule our family? You know what I mean? I'm just like, I get where you're coming from. But, you know, I'm very militant when it comes to school. The kids know that. It's like, that's first priority. Everything else is a bonus. Everything else is, you know, your time to do what you want, where you want to grow, where you want to put your energy into, you know, expansion, you know. And I feel like some of us are coming into that, especially, you know, anyone born around my birthday, or like not my birthday, but year. And it's like going through premenopause, menopause. Oh, it's called hormone happy or happy hormone. It's an orange label, orange and pink. Fuchsia? No, not fuchsia. Looks like a sunset. But read the ingredients. It's gluten-free and all that good stuff. But read the side effects, because I know everybody's different. See if it, you know, is good for you. But I'm on my second bottle now. And they tell you take one in the morning, one at night. I know sometimes that's difficult, but like I take a thyroid medication, so it's like take it an hour after that. So I feel like it's just remembering to take it. I mostly take it at nighttime. It's like lunchtime and then pre-lunch, like pre-work, and then like lunch or my last break. So I get them in, you know? And I feel like this is where the tables are turning, things are changing. You know, when they were saying like the beginning of a new journey, a change of things where it's not so much a light switch goes on, it's just like seeing things differently. You know, like Emily was talking about, like, you know, everything she was taught is like, it's like, I even told her, I'm like, I wish I could write everything that, or even like everybody that sees her a certain way, and it's like she could get a bazillion of those comments, and it just takes that one person to, and I get it, you know? It's like the internet is a nasty place. It's like, even though you're trying to bring positivity into this world, exactly what I was talking about. A fear, we're hanging on to everything close to our chest. This could be our kids, our, you know, your partner, your fur babies, your spirituality. You're protective of something. You know, as a parent, you recognize that. But it's like this time of month. It's just like, it's the first of the month. So it's just like, you know, but just say, you know, I ground myself and I'm like, you know what? The bills are paid. Everything's good. You know, we're going to sit there and, you know, try to tweak some things and do other things. And, you know, it's like, I don't give up. I just try to find a way to fix it. You know what I mean? A game plan. But it's also not to obsess about it, because it's just like, you know, sometimes it's like life is lifing sometimes, you know? But it's always to make room for those blessings and recognize them. You know, they were talking about these 3 gifts coming in. And some of us will be like, well, that was already coming in. But it's like, yeah, but you know what? It could a good line from Better Call Saul. We can make it 0. You know what I mean? And it's like, even though you feel like it was coming in, it's like, you know, that could have been less of what you got. You couldn't have gotten it at all. Like, you know, like there's review time for some people at this time. So end of the year bonuses and stuff like that. And they're like, could make it 0. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's like some people try to, how do you put that? Not micromanage it, but like something happens and they're like, but this. Like they try to trivialize it. They're just, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, you're going to miss the beauty and light in life if you keep on picking everything down to the brass tacks of things. And here we go with temperance. You know what I mean? We keep getting these kind of balance cards, finding that balance. And it's just like, you know, ebbs and flows. You know, we are in Scorpio season. So water, maybe this is why they're telling us to embrace our fire, because emotions may be high. Emotions are high for myself. Sometimes my oldest one gets affected by it. My youngest one lately. But I hate this. They were saying this. You probably got a little rest there. And they're like, well, guess what? That break is over. It's time to get back to it. So if you were like, you know, like they said, instead of giving up or giving yourself a hard time, you just say, you know what? You know what's a good recovery? Laura turned me on to this. It was NRC. I don't put the whole packet in water. I feel like when you do that, that's what really turns you off of stuff. I sit there and I have a tumbler and I fill it with water. I sprinkle a little bit of that in it, especially when I'm feeling run down. I put a little bit of that in my water, and I put the Relax in there. It takes down your cortisol, you know, especially when we're anxious, you know, and we probably feel a little anxious right now. You know, we're going into daylight savings time tonight, and because we live in Canada, you may be somewhere else. So look at that, Queen of Cups. You fill everybody else's cup, and it's like you gotta sit there and take care of yourself. So this is where I'm saying we're NRC, and this is just suggestions. You know, you don't have to take. You know, if it doesn't resonate with you, you don't feel drawn to it. You know, you're like, oh, I'm not going through premenopause or anything. Don't worry about that. Take what resonates. Maybe you know someone that's going through it, and you're like, oh, you know what? I was listening to a reading, and they were talking about this. Because sometimes the information's meant for you to sit there and... So this Page of Swords keeps coming out. And they're showing the Queen in my mind's eye. So it's like in 3 weeks' time, some sort of truth is coming out. You know what I mean? And I feel like in your favor, though. You know, got the 6 of Wands there. But I feel like there's been a lot of lies told just to make them look good. You know what I mean? Oh, they were so sad. That's why this happened. It's like, no. Maybe other decisions were made, but so, talking about birthday celebrations, you know, two major ones coming up for us. So celebrate in a big way, celebrate in a positive way. That's how you keep your energies of your loved ones around you. They could be anywhere else in the world and they're choose to be with us. That's like, what a blessing. But it's time to move forward with life. Filling your cup. King of Wands, definitely following your intuition right now. Contracts to be signed. Maybe that's why that Page of Swords is coming in. Renewing something. So this could be like renewing a lease. I feel like this is a space that you rent. Not like a home. I feel like a workspace. You're not quite sure of it. I feel like you need to look over the books. Because I feel like it's like brick and mortar. I feel like it's either you want to open a brick and mortar place and it's just kind of like seeing what the I was gonna say the website traffic is, and they said welfare for some reason. Maybe your welfare. It doesn't necessarily have to mean like honest government assistance, but it's like you have to think about your welfare. If like you're opening that, it's like you're gonna end up burning yourself out because you're trying to micromanage the brick and mortar one, but you're also maybe you're the talent. So it's like not only you're making the content, you're editing the content, and people are promising they're going to help you out more, but they're really not. And then you decide to open this brick and mortar, or someone thinks that you should. I think you need to crunch the numbers. I feel like you're surrounded by a lot of yes people. I feel like they'll just tell you whatever, or whatever, I feel like someone might be trying to, they feel like if they have a brick and mortar, they're able to, I feel like they steal from you. So I feel like if they have a brick and mortar, because it's a brand new business, they're able to sit there and take more money because you're not used to new revenue. And what do they say? It's like, you should expect not to make any money for the first year. And then I know if you watch Schitt's Creek, Alexis was talking about, they said the first 13 to 16 months, right? So I feel like that's where they're trying to get one over you. It's like, oh, well, we knew the risk opening this. And it's like, but you're taking all the risk. So definitely something to really look into. I feel like you need to take a look at the books. I feel like you need to, you know what I mean? It's like the Chariot. You need to take control of the reins again. There's the Queen of Swords. So something you're planting here is going to take you, remember we're talking about money and scarcity, the Four of Wands? So something's going to come in here. This could be a new job where it's like it takes away that lack. They're telling you to get your iron checked. I feel like you get the chills a lot. I feel like you got like sweaters on, like, They're also saying the way you dress, though. I feel like you're trying not to be so bulky so you look smaller. And, who doesn't try to do that? But it's the winter, baby. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for us in Canada, it's like we're heading... Like, by the 19th of November, we'll probably have snow on the ground. You know what I mean? It's like, winter here is like its own freaking, my gosh, time zone. We get winter from November 19th until like May, mid-May. It's just, my gosh. But, it is what it is, right? But, I feel like with the Seven of Pentacles, if you've been planting seeds on helping out you financially, bringing more stability. This has nothing to do with that brick and mortar one. It could, because it's like you're trying to make your dreams come true, but I'm saying, because you're the talent, I feel like there's merch, they're showing shirts here. So maybe you're the talent that makes the shirts. But they're saying your website traffic is like, they're showing like 98%. Why waste your time with a brick and mortar? You know what I mean? I get people like to touch fabrics and stuff like that. Maybe do a pop-up shop. Maybe, like, they have a lot of, I'm just saying where we are, but they have a lot of, like, flea markets. They have a lot of winter markets, you know what I mean? Christmas markets. It's just like, Facebook Marketplace, It's just like, that will be 2% of your sales. Your website is like, I understand people want to sit there, but it's just like, I feel like you need to get your house in order. Going back to that moon card. Getting your house in order, bringing back in the balance, taking away all the garbage, purging all the garbage. So even like going through your house right now, maybe you're like trying all the winter boots, the coats and the gloves and stuff like that. And it's like, this coat doesn't fit, but it's like it hasn't fit in 10 seasons. So it's like, you know, it's time to get rid of it. Maybe you really love it and maybe this is the season you get into a routine. If you really love it and it's just, you're a little puffy. So it's like, okay, we're really going to discipline, but it's just like, you're not, I feel like it's something you love. So maybe keep it and cut out the ice cream they're showing. But, yeah, that's unfortunate because, it's like the people that we keep closest to us, we trust us the most, teach us the hardest lessons, unfortunately. Especially when you're coming, like in myself, where it's like I went from hanging out with a lot of people to being very isolated, and it's my own fault. You know what I mean? I'm not going to blame anyone else but myself. It's like, it happened, but I also allowed it to happen. You know what I mean? But it's just like, they're saying you're tried and trues. But I feel like there's some people there that just come in to teach you a lesson. I feel like this person that's trying to get away with stuff, I feel like it's like things sell, but then they're like, oh, it was a return, it was damaged. I feel like they're writing things off that actually shouldn't have been written off. Like they sell like a big candle or a mug, or they're like, oh, it came back broken. Well, it didn't come back broken. Like it's not adding up, It's like, oh, the handle was broken, and it's just like, sometimes that happens. We see how they handle packages sometimes on these TikTok videos, but it's just like they're writing it off and pocketing the money. So if that resonates with you, you need to check that out. So they're showing the sun. So this is, even though there's a lot of, things going around here, isn't that how it always is at this time of year? Wrapping things up. It's like finding that balance. We keep getting that, finding that balance, getting your house in order. So maybe it's actually purging things from your house, purging people from your life, going to the death card, people, places, things. There's some things that we know that, okay, I'll pull a couple more. I'm trying to make these videos shorter, but it's like, my gosh. Yeah, I feel like something's legal's coming up. The Fool, brand new beginning. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I don't want to make it too long, but, take what resonates. I'll try and post again during the week. It's just, how crazy it gets or whatever. It's just so many moving parts. Sometimes it's just hard to just sit and get it to go for it, especially, Halloween. And then that was fun though. It's like it was raining, so I was like, should I get the big umbrella from the outdoor umbrella? And we're like, me and Michael look at each other like, yeah, okay. We put the umbrella up because it started raining. We put the freaking cast iron stand on the bottom. I'm like, there you go, boom, fixed. You know what I mean? It stopped raining. The sky, it just was so beautiful. All the clouds were moving very fast, but it's like that's kind of like, not like a big puffy cloud, but it was like a hazy cloud where it was just passing through because like the wind was blowing and it's just like pushing it right along. And you could see the sunset coming through and it was a beautiful blue. And then the moon was very vibrant because we're heading into the full moon. So it's just like, and that's where you may have felt like, especially last week, sometimes some of us will feel the shadow side. So we're thinking a lot. We're a lot in our heads and we got to sit there and ground ourselves. It's like, you know what? We know this is going on. And I know everyone's like, oh, blame it on the planets, blame it on this, blame it on that. It's like, it's energy, And it's like when you're thinking too much, it's like that energy or putting into negative things. I'll sit there and I'll start thinking, and it's like, you know what? Stop. Just stop. Take a breath. Does this matter? No. It doesn't matter in this moment. It's not in front of us. It's not a part of us. So just leave it alone. Stop giving our energy so freely to things. Stop letting things take place or stop letting things take up space in our life that doesn't matter. So it's just like, where you hang out with someone, it's always negative gossip, negative, and it's like, ugh. And it's like, okay, you need to take a couple steps back. You need to take a breath, because this is affecting me, because it's like your energy every time it comes in, it's very draining. You don't have to say it to that person. You just, okay, I gotta go, you go maybe this is at work, you go in the break room, you're grabbing a coffee, they're showing in the break room, grabbing a coffee from I guess they have a Keurig or some sort of pod machine in the break room. And you see them coming in and it's going to be earful. It's like, okay, I got to go. I'm going to go outside and get some fresh air. I'm going to go check on something, So it's just like kind of limiting that type of energy into your life. Or you find yourself thinking about, oh, Thing told me about this today about her partner and this and that. It's just get yourself grounded with you, work through all your chakras. Where they're showing a lot of, pentacle energy here. It's like, get that straightened out. Stop giving your energy so freely, willy nilly to, to sit there and find something that'll appease your inner child. You know, me and Michael found some slime when we were at Walmart. That's really cool. We have some of them have sprinkles and all this kind of cool stuff in them. Not actual sprinkles, but it's like pieces of plastic, but it's really cool. It's nice to play with. But it's just like find things, painting. We just came from Halloween, carving pumpkins, painting pumpkins, going trick or treating, or if you were like us and you were shelling out, and it's just like seeing all the costumes and seeing how happy the kids are, and the parents are like, oh my gosh, getting my steps in. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can only imagine. Just having fun with it. Maybe you're putting up your Christmas tree today. Who knows? So, or they're talking about a parade. So maybe you're going to see a parade. Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, they have the Macy's Day Parade. Maybe you want to participate, or you're signing up for the Santa Claus Parade. It's just do things that make you happy and bring out your inner child, and try to make the most of every single day. Even if you had a bad dream, it's like, okay, that's not going to define the rest of my day. I know you feel cruddy and it affects you, but it's just like, you know what? It's not fact. It was a dream. Let's just, push forward. Let's just sit there and get through this day, and hopefully it'll be easy peasy the rest of the day, since you woke up in such a bad way. Sometimes I wake up with pressure headaches, and it's just like, take an allergy pill, take a Tylenol, and keep pushing. And it's just like, sometimes that's all you can do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this timeless reading for Saturday, November 1st. May the universe bless you good. We'll see you for the next one.